I know but the best, like, you have to have a sense of humor because, like, imagine, like, my thumbnail for this image, like, "Wanna learn how to paint like this?" Just this sloppy mess. "Wanna learn how to paint like this? Watch this tutorial." It's a sloppy disaster, and that brings me kinda joy to think about that. An absolute disaster. Do I think this painting will ever sell? Hmm, good question, brain. High likelihood of no. But if I can pull it together, it could speak to somebody. If someone's having a hard day and they do an impulse buy, maybe she finds a home. Surprisingly enough, I'm just gonna add a few details. Shocked as much as you are, I jumped a few brush sizes. Typically like to build my brush sizes downward, like scale them down slowly. But I'm just want to get some of these edges. Specifically here. Oh, fuck, sorry. Specifically here. I saw something here and I just thought, I need to get this in now. Don't like this mouse. We're gonna. One good thing is, like, automatically these small brushes hold differently. They push the paint differently. I won't give you any more details than that other than experience it for yourself. But they work the paint differently, which is definitely a benefit. They don't pull the paint as much, so they just leave it where it lies. Not completely, but more so than the larger brush that I was just using. Fine with the detail, but one thing is I can plant my finger here because this is completely dry acrylic, right? Bonus. So it's kind of like a hand I'm bringing out, like appendages. We're going to go blue, bring it into the yellow ochre, which is then green. Now we're almost doing what I was saying that we would do after dinner, making more bold decisions. That's okay. Go with it. Go with it. That looks like a mohawk. I don't know. The problem is the framing on the head's a little too high, but like, so be it. It's very abstract. It's very expressive. Got to go with it. In theory, I would bring it down because it's just not going to work. I think we're going to go. This is kind of on the nose, like this being an eye. I don't really think that's that interesting, maybe? I don't know. Like, of course it's an eye, but should it be? Probably not. So if everything is smooth, I don't like that. I'll explain what I mean by that. Is everything smooth, like, skin smooth, newborn skin? No. No. Okay, are you ready for this? Remember, aggressive. It build from that. I want it to be It's kind of what I was doing earlier with acrylics, but we're definitely in oil with the base. But it's the same kind of exploration, but in the confines. Because I just don't want everything to be so unified. It was not speaking to me at all. So I'm making it like, as soon as I added that eye, I'm like, no, it's not just this. It's more than that. And then that's what makes it for me more real art, I guess. Like, I just see like, no, it's more than that. It's not just. It's a real fucking archangel, not a fake one. There's something really here. I think these are kind of the moves that I was anticipating after there was a bit of drying. So they're just happening now. I think that's in my best interest. I'm going with it, obviously, but these are the kind of aggressive moves I anticipated to make a little bit later. But they need to be made now because I need to see some. I think I got it. It's like these got to be made now. Okay, just I hear you loud and clear, mister. So now we're gonna add shadow. Like, so there's gonna be like some shadows will be lighter. No rhyme or reason. That's like another wing. That's interesting. I like it. There's shadow underneath here. Good. Add some different colors in the shadows. We're gonna go like more purpley here. Too much, but that's okay. We can work with that. Too much. See, now we went into a darker value zone. That's fine. And just because I'm talking to myself, I think you should too. Get comfortable talking to yourself, even if it's not out loud, but as you paint, guide yourself. Use like third-party philosophy to guide yourself with the paintings. We'll leave a little highlight there, I think. So remember, this acrylic is dry. And then I go hard here. This is a detail that I think it's actually, I was going to say it's a little early, but it's perfect timing because it brought some life in here. Man, I love that breast. He's kind of like a duck, Homer. Yeah, I think there's something here. It's very abstract. It's very surreal. It's very absurd. Just make it good. Dive into that. Make it work. Give it the time, the energy, the love, so that it can exist in its final form, even though it just is so silly. And now it's not as harsh, or it's not, you wouldn't let it babysit your kids, but you wouldn't necessarily, maybe you'd run away screaming, but it's not horrific. Like, at least give me that. It's not horrific. It's scary and fascinating. Okay, that's cool. It's worth looking at in an encyclopedia, you know. Oh, I'm happy this happened. I do. These last 10 minutes have really I've fallen in love. Maybe not quite that far, but something shifted. There's something here. There's something worth. You see, it's still very expressive, like almost like an abstract painting. You know, my strokes are not too constricted or restricted. There's still a lot of exploring elements happening. It's so much forgiveness in this kind of style too. You mean like, what do you mean that I meant to do that? Right? The whole time you can say that to yourself. What do you mean? Of course that's like this. Is there any other way? But you just refine your strokes and you refine in this case, the skin, and then it does kind of validate the nonsense. And there's no need to make more work for yourself just to express yourself. Not now. Earlier, yes. Now you do want to have like I'm not going to add another limb or anything right now. If it needs it, we go there, but I think we're past that. So I don't need to complicate anything. I've settled when I started doing the wings and moved to oil. I've settled on, I made my bed. And now we lie in it. And if you really need to go to where I'm about to take you, it's the painting of the day. Relax. And the more you do this over the years, the more confidence you get, and also the more detachment, and it's okay. It's all good. Why I keep touching on this point in this conversation was like, of course you want it to sell too. So that kind of should drive you a little bit. Use it to your event. Like, hey, is someone going to give you their hard-earned money for this? Well, then make it worth their while. Give it, try, man. Try to pull it together. At the end of the day, you want this to find a home. It's not for you just to keep and let your cat look at it. You do want this to find a home. So can you make it good enough to find a home? Right? Like, give the dog at the shelter a haircut. Make sure it doesn't stink. Make sure it's fed so it's not angry. And you gotta nurture it. And then you're just giving it at least a chance to find a home. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm giving it a chance. And that's not the sole reason. The sole reason is for my own satisfaction, of course. But sometimes your own satisfaction can only take you so far. So it's good to balance that with also the foresight and the ego and the possibility of it landing in someone's living room or office or den. That has to be in the equation. Has to be. Unless I think maybe sometimes I can set out to stuff where it's just painting for the sake of painting and I'll leave all that behind. But I actually think the thought process of going through anticipating sales or even putting it up for sale is only a net positive for the process of creation. It's helped me before, really refine things that I might have let go. It's made me go back on a piece because there was just something there. I'm like, oh man, if you keep going, you got something. So whatever motivates you to really put in the time. And often I think the thought of hey, this is gonna, someone's gonna give you their hard-earned money for this. Make it really, try your best. Sometimes you can try your best without thinking like that. That's fine. Sometimes the piece is just calling you and just speaks to you and you just want to keep going with it and keep pushing it. That's cool. Man, it's so hot. I don't even have the air on. That's why you don't hear I'm not sure if you can hear the before, but there's a buzzing. We're not in black, or we're not even dark brown. We're in this dark blue, gray, green. I don't love it, but it's important. Just a minute. Still shaping, right? See, I'm not as aggressive right now. I'm picking my spots. This is a little untouched, so let's put some work in here. I'm kind of shocked we moved to this brush so fast, but it's really working for me, so. You're also not able to make too many big mistakes or make too many adjustments too rapidly. It's all little strokes. And that's good for, especially when your brain's racing or you're really like trying to push. Well, grab a small brush because then there's only so much damage you can do. There's only so much, there's only so much shifting you can do. Okay, I love the fact that it's going into the rubber duck Homer universe. I'm going to stay away from Homer specifically if possible, because I really want this to be on its own, in its own world. Rubber duck's a little more acceptable for me. So my night's been broken up into kind of 2 sessions, 2 stages. So what I'm going to do now is I had dinner, and why I'm telling you that is because the painting has been drying, or resting rather, let's use the word resting, for, maybe a couple hours at most. So 1 or 2 hours, for sure an hour, and closer to 2. So it's tacky. It's not dry. If I touch it, it'll still come off, but it's not very malleable. Like it's hugging the panel. Okay. So now we'll do a bit of a glaze, which is just a light translucent layer. And I added a little red in there. Okay. I'm brushing it on very gently. We'll end up covering kind of the whole thing. Again, normally I wouldn't really share this with you, but considering I said I'm going to give you the entire, I can see it picking up some of the paint underneath. So it's using some of the paint. But that's fine. We're going to push through that. Especially these areas, because these areas I want to hit again and mess with them. You see, definitely want to touch up here. Why? Because this is going to add depth. My main takeaway from this kind of stage that's typically hidden, you don't see it, me walk you through this, is it just adds depth. And it does help with the dry time. And I'm going to go for a walk on the beach. And so it'll probably dry for another hour or so. It'll be tacky. And it'll hug the panel again. And it'll just give me some kind of like a fresh start for the last session of the night. Will I be able to finish the painting tonight? Maybe, maybe not. Depends depends what happens. I have no pressure. I am more happy with it than I thought I would be. Even after like looking at it later on. Gonna add some more liquid into the mix. You can see my brush. I'm going to be careful of the eye because the eye can be very delicate because of the white. but I do want to hit everything before I take the next break. I can definitely see, I'll just repeat it, but like I can definitely see some of the paint attaching the brush to the brush. From the earlier layer this afternoon, from the last session. I'm gonna keep going with it. I want to try to hit everything before I let it go. Gonna actually clean my brush, bring more liquid in, some more red. We'll use all the liquid so it doesn't go to waste. Fine, I'll show you. Just because I want to be a little bit, I want to explain myself a little bit for you. Okay? So you can see when I apply, it's very translucent. Okay. There's actually a little more red than the previous layer. For down here, it's probably going to work out in my favor. For some of the shadows, red's always good for skin, because when we come back on it with like an orange and pinks and yellows, you got your red in there, and that's going to be good. Is a style, I like it. Like if any color, like I'd rather glaze it with a red than a yellow or I've done neon pinks. But I think my go-to is red. It's the only time I'm going to show you the palette, just because it's a pretty dramatic escalation. Watching too much news. But it's really important, and you can do this multiple times. If the painting doesn't finish, and I walk into the room tomorrow, I will do a glaze kind of immediately, typically, depending on what it needs. We'll even hit this shadow here. Just want to cover it all. I'm going to leave that eye. I think I'll literally start moving the eye around. Here I'm okay. Moving some things around to a degree, because I think it ends up just helping me by building dimension, depth. Remember, it's just touching everything, getting everything on there. We're even working with the elements that were a little impasto, because there was thick acrylics that I was painting over. And there you have it. I think it's pretty much everything. There you go. So now I'm going to let that dry. In front of the fan, I'll have the fan pointed at it. And I'll let that work with it. I'll let that dry in front of the fan. Okay. See you next time. Late into the evening, had some actually pretty good, promising thoughts about everything. I really like the break that I had. It looks like it's gonna go into day 2, which is fine. I'm not sure why I had different expectations, but I'm actually kind of glad I'm gonna take my time with this. It's gonna prolong the video quite extensively, but so be it. But I really love this kind of concept of like the more like this creating like a new cherub, a new version of a cherub. And for that, I'm actually really excited. Like even just to call it a cherub really excites me. So really happy with that. I did tinker a little bit off camera, but nothing of substance. I was just messing around almost like while I was getting ready. Added some blues and kind of changed a few things. With the background, I added some kind of tidied up these parts, whatever you want to call them. Let's make a new mixture of skin and still aim for like a nice almost in between a glaze, so like adding the liquid in pretty heavy, but however still not as transparent as the last layer, that especially the one that I walked you through, where I was just kind of showing you what I do, what I typically don't show on camera. I just want some more depth, so it's a glaze. I wouldn't call this, but I also saw these things when I was looking at it. I think these are going to be like almost like suspenders or belts, so they're gonna pull into the skin. Yeah, and I'm as obnoxious and silly as this painting is, I am actually glad I got it all, like the whole thing. I set out to get this whole thing on camera. One thing, like a side note for edit, like because it is going to be probably quite long, I have to get over the fact that I'm just talking the whole time, like I'm a little not self-conscious, but I'm like, Jesus, like I had some hesitation about that. Like maybe music is a bit better than just listening to me. But one thing about editing the video, like storing a 6-hour video at decent quality, I think it's like HD, it's not like 4K, but it takes up, like I have tons of hard drives that store my work. And that's always a bit of a predicament, to be honest. I don't want to have 100 hard drives. Also, I put on my glasses. This is so we've elevated, like kind of, again, we're in the staging, different stage. So sorry, let me catch myself. So because I'm going to upload the entire video on YouTube, like the full video with all the nonsense jibber jabbering and every little stage. So it's like a full tutorial from me. Like the first one where I have tutorials up, but they're kind of isolated parts of the painting. This is like the first time I'm going to have a really long video. Anyways, if it's the entire video's on YouTube, I can just delete the footage then. I can kind of just let go and, okay, the video exists on YouTube, and I'll edit a reel, like a shorter version of this, obviously, and then I can let it go. Now back to what was I saying? I don't remember. Oh, stages. So because I got my glasses on, that really is a sign of the finishing carpentry, to go back to the earlier analogy. So my glasses mean that I really do see the painting differently. It's like a new pair of glasses, a new perspective. It's really dramatic as you get older. For those that know about glasses, I'm a novice. I didn't even know I needed glasses until I put them on. So I didn't grow up this way, like needing glasses. But now that I use them really to my advantage to get a new perspective and a different, remember I give you the list of different things that you would do to look at a painting different from, like, using a mirror or turning it upside down, those things. The glasses is definitely the same, and here we are. So let me see if this is going to be a little Homer Simpson-esque, in the sense that I don't want it to be too on the nose. I'm holding the vision right now of the cherub, like a new cherub. So I don't want it to be, oh, that's Homer Simpson. Like that, that might be asking too much. But that is not my number one intention. My intention is just to have, you'll kind of need to read the description of like, what is this? What is that? And what is this? It's just a cherub, like a little angel cherub. I think, so it has this adorable quality. If it leans too hard into pop culture with Homer Simpson, I'm missing the mark. However, I do want this like to be his beard, the Homer beard. But I want this mouth to be like kind of like fish-like. I see like a fish-like, kind of those sucker fish kind of like mouth. I also still want to go into deep waters with shading, but not chiaroscuro where it's like super black shadows. Not going to go that deep, but we are going to go. I've noticed there's some confidence in my brush work right now. I've gone back to a larger brush, but I do have my glasses, so it's a little hard to articulate this fact. But because I have the glasses, the larger brush doesn't feel large. I feel very calculated. At the end of the day, like a second wind. Because we're gonna play into tomorrow and like making that definitive decision actually a couple hours ago. That gives us some interesting liberties because we're gonna get a full night of drying. And to go back to when I told you I was really prepping you for how I was going to get a break from dinner, and then we went to the beach, spent, a couple hours away from the paint from the previous layer really holds differently. It's tacky. My brush strokes are more, have more resistance, and it's my favorite place to be in a painting when there's some resistance with the brush. It's not just gliding smoothly. I don't like that. Because I really feel like I'm working with a new layer and keeping the other layers underneath alive. They're not just all blending and mixing together. Definitely a personal preference, but it's something to look out for. Like, do you like it? I just feel like I get my best gains and I make the most progress right now. You're seeing the most progress. I'm noticing it in my brush work. There is with this darker shadow, there is less glaze. I guess would be technically considered a glazing technique, because I am not trying to blend. I'm just laying on top a lighter transparent layer. But it's kind of somewhere in the middle if I had to be brutally honest. I am getting carried away, but not like before. It's a bit of a different process now. Remember, I might say this more than even now, but it is like, okay, we're in the finishing carpentry. That might be a little early though. I might be a little premature because I'm not doing like details, eyelashes, even like details in the eye, but the glasses do change the game. I don't know what this is. It's supposed to be his body. Maybe like I might even, because we're going to grow into tomorrow, maybe I should get a little more creative here. And now's the time to do any additions. Like rib cage or more genital stuff. Still want to just say it out loud. I am looking for cute and weird versus straight up. I used to even have a series like a dedicated, like just do cute and weird. It's going to benefit you more than anything. Just cute and weird, not grotesque and morbid and demented. Cute and weird. Weird is fine, just not haunting or scary or bloody and gory, like just cute and weird. I think that's important. And I was even thinking about like how I was really harping on like about sales, but every artist, you ask any artist, they want to sell their work. It's not like a surprise. It's not a surprise. So there's just things to think about. Ugh. There's things to think about. And you get inspired by like, oh my God, if you do this, it has a better chance of selling. I can get inspired by those kinds of thoughts. So I'm really beating myself up here by adding a yellow tint because it's really giving that Simpsons kind of vibe. But I just do love yellow in my skin. Man, I love it. Especially for like these glazes and like adding layers. Just love it. Because I know this is going to dry overnight. I can really play, like I can even add some pinks in here. I think why I'm beating myself, or why I'm causing myself a bit of a headache with this yellow is because I like this rubber duck element too, like a Cherub, Homer Simpson rubber duck. Glazing is nice too because it's like really easy to course correct. When you have grounds, one magic color to add to brown is green. Breaking out my greens. It's like an emerald green or something. Permanent green, it says. But don't, again, now you're just saying, these glazing layers are very forgiving. So don't add too much pigment. Not yet, anyway. Just adding depth by adding different colors. Roughing it up a bit, it'll add to the skin. I want the skin to look real. Man, I think it's the aircon. Excuse me. We still got these browns and greens in this, but a little lighter. Well, now we'll go back the other direction, a little darker. Switched my brush. This brush is, I'm actually liking the other brush, but now that gonna do a little more glazing. Let's get some yellow in here. So I was gonna actually switch to a smaller brush, starting some detail, but let's touch everything with some of that yellow that I was harping about. I don't know what's happening here. I see a lot happening here. Oh, there's even some blue in there. Cool. There might be some highlights happening here. some things come alive on their own by just painting. And really, if I had to break that down and really explain what I mean by that, is you just see things. The more, I'm also not in this manic, expressive phase. I'm in a lightly translucent, small brush stroke spot. I think I will, in order for it to have some real depth, we can always pull back, because remember, so I'm building a darker value, still glaze, still a lot of glaze, but it is going to sit overnight, and so I can pull it back if it's just too much. But having it in there, having these darker shadows, is going to add a lot of depth, and I typically don't regret it. So the only thing is, if it's just not in the right spot or it's too much, I can pull it back tomorrow morning when I get up and attack this again. And the reason I want to do that, add these darker values, is because I don't know what's really happening here. So I just think it needs some definition and it needs more going on. So let's make more going on. There's that one great artist I follow. He does the kids' drawings and then brings them to life, typically with like a painting, digital painting, but it's still really fantastic. And then he animates them and stuff. It has some of that vibe happening here. Except there was no original drawing. We're just playing with what we drew in the paint. Same thing here. It's like, that looks a bit like a little bit phallic. I think I like it though. Cherubs have everything, apparently. Oh, my sniffles are going away. My apologies. See, that's a little dirty. Really easy to clean up later. Not worried. In fact, we're kind of like pulling there right now. I didn't clean them up completely, just subtle. Just added a little lighter value, a little. Perfect example, I kind of, because I guess the subject matter, but because I saw what I saw, then I build in that direction now. Just saw that, like, what else do I see here? I think I'm gonna have to edit some of that out. Jesus Christ. I don't know what happened. I need to eat some vitamin C, I guess. Jeez. You definitely don't want white skin or gray skin. A little gray skin's fine in some parts. Again, there's a lot of magic that happens knowing you're not finishing something today, and you're going to bring it into it in a whole new dimension tomorrow. I might have to do some research too before I go to bed on some fish mouths to see how this would also still technically be a bit of a glaze, because it's not a lot of pigment. It's like 50-50. really easy to blend. And you see how it shapes things, pretty powerful. Add a little definition. I think we want it to be like a round. Like kind of like one of those like plastic, those donuts, those like almost like maybe the toddlers use them, like the stack the donuts, those plastic donuts. Have a mouth like that. See, when you're glazed, like, see, I can touch anything and it just all works. It's kind of a secret, isn't it? With these glazes and these light, small brush strokes, you can really work anything. And so remember, I just want it to cut into the skin like a belt, or what I say, suspenders. Now is the time for that to happen too, because I'll have to work with some of the shadows later. Just clean my brush off completely. There's a little bit of thinner on there, or turpentine. See, I don't feel like I'm not in this like mistake mode at all right now. It's all working together. And then you can even put colors and tints. You can tint things. I think I'm gonna go with like let's see, a bit of brown here. Just thinking about these. If I had to be more accurate, they're like straps of what, or for what, I don't know. But I just want to keep them because they kind of came from the drips that happened earlier. And that's what makes it really, for me, I think maybe just like really unique and authentic. So they don't come all the way up, right? They're going to be digging into the skin. Some places more than others. Touch everything so that you get the color, the unity. And then you play with it to make it look real, and then maybe we even add like some buckles and stuff. I don't know. But this cherub, this new version of the cherub, that's what it is. That is what it is. You make the rules. We're finding our Bob Ross now, right? You make the rules. The cherub's telling you what to do. He's whispering in your ear. The mouth will also really determine how cute and weird it is, or how scary it is. Mouths will do that. Same with this eye is working for me in the direction that I want to go, as far as being I'm a little worried about this hair because of the frame. The frame will come right in probably and touch the hair. We might have to wow, look at that. Came out of nowhere. We might have to work with this a bit. It's something that I don't want to do because, oh shit, sorry. Because I think it's just a change I'd rather not do, but because we went so hard in the abstract and so kind of crazy. Here's a quick little secret. See, I just mixed some blue. It's close enough for to start. Get some liquid in there because you definitely want to be able to work with this tomorrow. I just think it's in my best interest. This is like, again, this is a good thing to, I think, share with you. That blue's a little too bright. This side of it a little. If I don't do this, I think I'll regret it. The frame might not touch. The rest of it, also the liquid really helps blend it and keep it. I don't know what's happening here. I'm not ready to do anything with that. The liquid helps blend it into, you will see like kind of like a more wet compared to the acrylic. But if I don't do this, we're also going to put my signature on before I sleep today. I think that the frame's going to hit the top of his head, and I just think that's amateur. Even though this is very abstract and surreal, you can kind of get away with it. I just think it's amateur if I don't make the frame, like, because the frame's going to come down, half a centimeter or something. And if it just touches his head at all, I think that's not fair to me. Yeah, I just think it's not good for me. Like, I won't like it, even if no one really cares. Are we going to go with like a Misfits kind of style? I think we are. So the hair doesn't land even with the top of the scalp, right? It's up. This adds character and almost now it's like this kind of humanoid element. Like, why would it have hair? So silly. These parts are important too it's like kind of plotting and planning and strategizing the process. Getting the darker parts, getting these dark colors into the eye now is better than doing it tomorrow, because I can go light tomorrow and really work with it. I don't love that hair. Really easy to change it. Brush is totally clean, but it's a little wet. Got my brush right. Look at that. You just pull and you're like add and subtract, right? Add and subtract. Clean the brush again completely clean. Dry it off a little bit. Twist it in your napkin, your rag, and napkin. We're gonna get rid of that one. You can get muddy pretty fast if I did a couple too many strokes. Take a dry brush. This brush is totally dry, and just soften these lines a little bit. You don't want any anything rigid. Rigidity? I have to look that up. That brush is spoiled because I just cleaned it, so it's not this is a dry brush again. I hate talking about technique, but I think it's just important because of this. Wouldn't call it a mistake even, just something I wanted to personally deal with. And again, because of tomorrow is in the cards, then just do it right, sir. Just do it right. I really am excited that this turned out to be tomorrow. A tomorrow painting. It was like a pube in my... Don't worry about shadows or anything yet. We're just getting out just to see if this is going to even stay, to be honest. It's part of this process right now is to see, hey, is this going to stay? Like, it was a good idea at the time, but is it going to actually remain? And yeah, I think so. So then we can add some glazing shadows tomorrow. I think we're going to darken this eye a little bit. The brush is not right. See the difference? You'll have to go back and just see why but that brush, getting your brush right is just kind of what separates experience from not, because so many times I would not get my brush right and I'm not able to carve precisely. Yes, but yes, I'm using that word, precisely what I want. And then that run will end where I'm not an error, but where it's just not precise. And then you're going to have to add and subtract, go back the other way. But if your brush is not right, you're never going to be able to make the marks that you intend to make because it's frayed and it's just not spun properly. So I'm not really looking for like black. I might make it's the iris. A little larger. I am still bringing in a little, like when it's not completely opaque. Getting some of that for here. The whole back of the mouth is not going to be black. This is just more for shaping. Will there be like nostrils? Maybe. But again, because my brush is right now, I can just add, and there's not a lot of paint on the brush. I can add I can do anything. I can do anything. Look at how fine those lines are. A little early for that kind of stuff, but really nice to see it coming through right now. That doesn't look like it's in the skin yet. Like the skin's growing around it. It's like really tight, but it's also, when you see a tree and it grows around like a fence post, that's the vibe I'm looking for here. Might be a little too dark, but I don't take the brush, clean it off and dry it off. Doesn't really have to be right. It's a little frayed, but just move that around a little bit. It's kind of one of your darker areas. Let's move this around a little bit. It's one of the darker areas. And I'm sure you heard this. If you're watching this far into an art video, then it's not that you don't use black out of the tube. The more you paint, you realize that there's actually not a lot of reason for black straight out of the tube or white straight out of the tube. It doesn't serve you as much as you think it will. You always like tinting things with like a blue and white and green and white and orange and white. It's going to serve you a lot better. That's all. So it's not that you can't do it. There's like you can play with highlights in the white, and I think certain paintings and styles will require black out of the tube and white straight out of the tube. because even when I think why I'm saying that is because I just noticed these black lines were along the, what did I call them? Straps. And they're a little too aggressive. They just are. Might be some black in here and here. And this looks like it might be like a face. This is the nose. Change my tune on that. Okay. Well, it's 12:30. Probably, I don't know how many, I've recorded the whole thing, so I'll figure out like how long I spent on it when I edit this video. I have to watch the whole thing, basically, right? Some parts I might skim through. That's going to be agonizing. Okay. I think there's some lines happening here, like folds. See, this is, instead of the black that I use, this is colors way better. Just red and black, like a dark brown red with a little black in there. You get it? I'm getting what I need way. It's way better. The nipple, we got to figure that out. I think I actually got to study some nipples for painting's sake, for art's sake. Yeah, but this brown black, way better. But for the folds and for the skin, you also don't want to leave things like untouched for later. I see some artists that are good at that. I'm not. I want everything to be hit as much as possible as I go along. I don't want to like leave something for later. If I can avoid doing that, like just not avoiding this because I don't see it. And then all of a sudden you're nearing the end of the painting, and in a sense, and you gotta like, oh, gotta deal with this. Well, that sucks. I don't like that feeling. So the more work you can get in it onto it now, the more I'll see and the more direction I'll have. Definitely want to work the entire piece all the time, as much as possible. Certain areas also take more, need more attention. I also have to look at folds. Sometimes you don't know where the best, because the highlight on top or on the bottom. Folds on the skin, on the neck and stuff are weird sometimes. Sometimes the highlights they swapped places. Sometimes they look like they make sense, but they don't make sense at all. You can hear my neighbor's truck. It's like a monster truck. At first it's nice, and then time goes by. It's upsetting. I think it's the time of day he shows up that makes things uncomfortable. However, credit to him, he's not an animal. He just has a loud truck. So these things might not work, but they'll add up. They work in your favor as you go along. Some of this dirty, muddy, but again, because the brush stroke's so small, it's really manageable. Then I hit some green, brown, and that red, brown, red, and that green, and some black, some liquids. Commit, right? I really want to commit to some of these areas that are going to have shadow. It's just making that commitment. I don't see anything here. I was kind of hoping I would by now. One more fold too, maybe. Does that fold go really deep in? Also, adding these rings is like really going to separate me from the Homer. So then it gives me, then I can pull it back into Homer a little bit more and not have as much concern that, oh, it's just Homer Simpson. No, it's not. But it's inspired. This is where you would say it's inspired. Loosely inspired. Okay, we're going to pull some of that green in again with the brown. Not as dark, that's still dark. A lot of liberty still happening because for the umpteenth time tomorrow. But if there's shadow here, we do need to make a decision what's happening here. I thought it might be the eye, like out. I'm not sure. I think I need to sleep on that. And then, you guys see anything here? I do see a face here now, right? I think it looks fractured or very surreal. Let's get a little red. A little red and black again, but more red this time. Right? It's all values, really, isn't it? Because you can kind of put any color in as long as it just makes sense. Like I wouldn't put a light value here, right? Not yet anyway. And nothing major. But when it's just value, you can really get jiggy. You can get really funky. I think the nipples really tell a story. No, but the cherubs do have them. Like, come on, I'm not a pervert. I am a pervert. I think it helps with art. Okay. Let's get. This is like one of those things too. If that tongue is a little further ahead, it's gonna help me tomorrow too. I don't really know I don't know what's happening here. It's fine for now. There's some red in the eye. That's like an orangey, brown, light brown red. That's fine. So that second win, I feel myself getting a little more. Is the word subdued? No. Quieting things down. Thanks for joining me so far. That's interesting. Those little marks there. I think there needs to be something here. So let me get some. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel with my color palette. So I'm not going to, but I am going to just kind of. Oh shit, fuck, I hate when I do that because I feel like I move it. Oh, God damn. Okay, so I'm drying my brush actually. And I dried it quite well. I think I was using the wrong brush for a glaze. So I added more glaze, and I just want this to be kind of different than over here. This whole side of the body is a little darker. Again, now is the time to do this. We can brighten it up or we can make it darker. Ideally, not make it darker. Now is the dark. If you're gonna make it dark, now, sir. There's some definition in the head that's gonna help you. Right, I added some lines there. Definition in the breast. Definition in the nipples. These kind of look like silly doll hands or something, even though they're supposed to be wings. I really like that. I think that's strong idea. Got to talk about the chicken wings again. It's kind of like the originator of the chicken wing conversation we had. Go back to let's go with some browns, some reds. Don't get carried away. A little black. A little of that green that you're mixing around. Just get it in there. Now is the time. Now is the time. This whole side is might help really sell this thing. That's a good way to say it. It really helps sell it. Kind of like it's been really well worked when you add these deep shadows. Like you know what you're doing. And I think you'll see, because I have this whole thing caught on a camera, you'll see kind of what I do with that. They were even gonna go a little hard here. And I'm taking chances and risks because we got tomorrow. Okay, so that's good. And there's some depths in here because it's down, right? Like down is light, dark, up is right. Really basic lighting strategy. And then maybe this, because again, I kind of convinced myself when telling you, I don't want to go dark tomorrow. That's not in my best interest. Go dark now, and then you can work. You have somewhere to go from. When you go dark tomorrow, it's still like it's almost like a different mindset or a different part of the process. So now is the place, now is the time. You're gonna go dark. I don't mind adding like some highlights black, adding some highlights, like some really dark values, like to really like cut something and make something like permanent, and adding some finality to something that's different. But like a glazing darkness, no, not tomorrow. Let this dry all night. Let this dry all night. I think they're like, there's folds in the skin, kinda, but it's also kind of like flush or not smooth, but draped on his skeleton, draped nicely. It's not hugging it and it's not pulling. Ooh, aggressive. Because this side is essentially the shadow side, I think the eye's going to be here, so we'll probably tidy up that. I think the eye won't be what we think it's going to be yet. It's going to change. But remember down, so like this down is shadow. If there's any definition in the arm, now is the time. Like, so is it just I don't think so. I think there's like some definition happening here. I'll say it one more time to myself and out loud. I'm adding a little blue into the mix and back to the black, adding some red, so it should make this kind of off, one of a kind purple. Aiming for the darkest parts of the piece. And I hope that I might put like a black light in there. There's not going to be that black out of the tube, is there? Probably not. Maybe the mouth and some of the eye and stuff and the hair, but it's just not needed. I think that like it's distracting, or it can be. Here there might be though, because there's something going on that I'm not sure. Kind of want this to be a bit of like some hair. I don't know how to say that politely. Cherub genitalia, kinda. I just think it's necessary, even though, hey, I don't want it in there. Come on, let's keep it PG, you know what I mean? But I don't make up the rules. The cherub makes up the rules. The cherub tells me what to do. I just listen, obey. So you see that? Like, that was a nice carving. That's ridiculous. I like it. Okay, is there any other definition, like flows in the body, that I need to be concerned with? And add some more red to this shadow, a little more liquid. And just before I call it for today, ooh, that was weird. I think I don't want that. I think I want to play with that as a highlight on the side of the head. Well, considering this was just like another hour session, I'm looking at the time. It's an hour has gone by. This is going to be a long ass video. So it's probably important that I do put a little work into it, considering I've never done it before. I don't know. I think that's fine. Yeah, something wants me to add shadow there, but I don't think so. Definition here, something. You get a little abstract, but just small strokes and small movements will help me more than something, a big blanket swoop. I'll be able to mess with some of these lines tomorrow. If they don't make sense and I wake up and it's like, that's not right. Is there like a kind of the wing? If it comes more, maybe now is the time for that shit. Yeah, I like that. Oh, well, shocked. Shocking. Okay. The last thing I'll do, because I was thinking about it, I just think it'll give me some direct, even if I have to, even if this idea, it really, um, there's just nothing here, so. So that's a little maybe too gothic or like too dark though. Like if I did a rib cage, I think that's not right. But I had to try something. I have to try something. It's just not working for me. Like just having this shape. For whatever reason, they kind of all work together. But just when I look at this shape specifically, it's asking me to do something. So I don't have what I had before, but I didn't also, it's almost like you wouldn't know if I didn't record that, you wouldn't even almost notice. I think the reason I just don't want it to be, again, scary. I'm going to stay away from just complete horror or like scary. So that's it. I think because that didn't work, that's time to pull the plug for tonight. Clean my brushes. See you later. Bye. So actually, I lied. I just saw something that would make it, but it's only available to me now to do this because I need the time. I need the dry time. So it's external from this kind of torso that will bring it together. Is I am going with a palette knife, which is kind of absurd, but it's because I want it to be in the same kind of style as here, and it's clouds. So the cherubs are in the clouds, right? And I'm so glad I recorded. Like, I even turned off the aircon. You can hear it. There's no buzzing because I'm done. But if I don't put white is so, like ridiculous for drying. So if I don't get this white in here now, I will have a really, I don't want it. Yeah, I just really want to take advantage of, it's a big deal for me. I like some paintings just don't have the gas to extend into days or, long periods of time. So when I am planning for a new day. I just need to take advantage. And the only way to do that is to kind of push myself a little bit. So that I can come in here tomorrow and just really know what's happening. And it makes me feel like today was really, I really took advantage of today to get the piece where it needs to go. The palette knife really, I think, is a good move. And then I can tweak it with a brush later. But it's just so uncomplete. Mind you, there's fantastic palette knife painters, but it's going to match a bit of this vibe from previous layers, which I think is just in my best interest. And so I'm just adding composition. I'm adding the layout. I think I'm also using my best palette knife, so there is some accuracy happening. And I added enough liquid, but not too much so that it doesn't pull any of the color. But that hopefully it should be touch dry for tomorrow, especially in this heat. Remember, I told you how hot it is here. Kind of like covering some of it, but not really. Is the cloud super cartoonish? Or is it not sure about that. This isn't that cartoonish. This is semi-cartoonish, and then this is that straight up like Mario Brothers cartoon out of cloud. But definitely in the clouds is gonna add some element that I think brings the painting together. I know it's crazy, but those wings are really dictated where this painting was gonna go, right? We left those wings, and I erased them, but it's just like, no, this is a cherub in the sky. Now, too much, probably. But I do want the again to be quite dominant and not scared. Commit. Kind of the magic of the palette knife that you're seeing is just kind of pulls some of the colors in really weird directions. To match the overall. And then it's really nice because then when you do put some refinement in certain areas, these abstract elements, they all kind of work together. So everything looks intentional, even though it's very loose. Maybe a little here. All right, like kind of starts to get broken a little bit. Maybe a little more break, a little more fragrant. We're not going up there. And one more right here, right? Because why? Because this thing sucks. What is this? But by problem solving, yes, the clouds, man. I hope you can hear me. I gotta say, kind of talk quiet. It's getting late in these parts. These clouds. If I wake up and I'm like, are those clouds? And then I can define them. It's fine. I'm even fine if this touches it, I'm not fine for if it touches it yet. Also, don't have my glasses on. Add some fluff. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so drying my brush off. Let's add a little more direction. Obviously, I'm not a palette knife painter, so I can have a little more control with my brushes. I hope you can hear me. I'll speak a little louder. Sorry. Hopefully the clouds look like something too, because clouds look like stuff. The only thing I'll do is I do want to, as long as I add some liquid, we should be good. But I'm just trying to get some clean white in there too. So we are using like white out of the tube, but it's been mixed with some of the other glazes. So it's actually not pure white. It's like a bit greeny blue white. Okay. Anything else? I don't think so. Maybe that's in the background. And I totally forgot to. Oops. You want to do this now? I don't think this is the right brush, but too late. Getting glasses on. Get your red working. Get it over here. It's just signature time. It's kind of the new signature of the year. Pretty happy with it. It's very like cartoony. But it's definitely mine's. I'm kind of proud of it. It's kind of cool, goofy. Like it's a goofy signature, but it's pretty distinguishable. It's pretty distinguished. And so for that alone, I like it. And it seems to be coming out pretty consistently too, like these up and down. Okay, there you go. That was the last minute touches. Good morning. Good. Good morning. I haven't even finished my coffee, and I want to get a glaze on it as soon as possible. So keep in mind, this is something I was anticipating avoiding, meaning I felt the piece would be finished by now. So because I let it dry overnight, I'm able to do this stage like really, really not aggressively, but just very, it's an extra step that I wasn't counting on, but that just really makes the painting come alive. Said I wouldn't show my palette anymore, but just to show you the glaze that and then I'm going to do like kind of, I'm not going to glaze the whole thing with one tint. We're going to do different tints. So I'm starting with like a brown, red, and a little black. I'm going to cover this whole strap. And anywhere where I want, but now, before when I did the glaze yesterday, you saw I was pulling some of the paint that I had on there already. At this time, even the white is pretty much touch dry. It'll pull it a little bit, but that's fine. The secret is don't go everywhere. Not yet. We are going to glaze the whole piece this morning, but not everywhere. We're going to hit the darkest parts, but then pull it out. Here's a perfect example. So we'll hit the darkest areas. And also kind of like in the mid, we're going to pull it into the... This is kind of magical. It doesn't seem like much yet, but it adds so much life to the painting. These glazing layers. So much depth and character. So I think I got to stop there. Now what I'm going to do, I'll actually make a new glaze. So I'm not going to save that just in case I need it. But I'm going to add some neon pink. I'll show you again. Neon pink, a little orange. And a little of that brown. So now it's just a little lighter. Still looks like, I guess it would be on the darker side. So here's the first glaze. Now here's the second. Neon pink, the brown that I mixed, and then little orange. Now we're touching everything, essentially everything. Yeah, I don't have to be too concerned. But definitely the areas that haven't been hit yet, the lighter areas. You can even touch that eye now. Remember, I had to avoid it, but now I can get a glaze on that eye. You can mix it in with the other layer that you just put on. Just be tactful. You just don't have to be that concerned. There's certain areas that I'm looking at, like, because I have a new perspective after a good night's sleep. I look at the painting slightly different. I know that I don't even really have to tell myself, but I'll say it out loud, like, okay, I'm committed to making this really giving this painting as much attention as it needs. That's cool. Kind of surprising. Like, I think this kind of style painting, if I wasn't recording it and walking you through the entire piece, I might have had a different strategy than I do this time. But this, I'm just, okay, we'll really put energy around this painting. It's fine. I think the concept is strong enough to do that. Thank goodness. Otherwise, it'd be a little challenging to make something kind of out of nothing. Sometimes the concept's not strong enough for you to take it this far and put this much work in my opinion. It's just not worth my time. I'd rather move on to a new idea. And that's just why I don't spend weeks and months on a painting, because my gift and curse is just coming up with concepts all the time. I'd love to be painting a chicken wing right now. I'm excited about that discovery we talked about yesterday. See, I didn't even I'm even painting onto the background, the blue. It's kind of a bit of a secret, I'd say. because the blue is really muddy and confused, I don't have to worry as much. Like if it was pristine and it was a really clear cutout of like just one solid blue color, I'd have to be a little more concerned. But because there's this mix of colors in the blue, it gives me a lot of freedom to not have to like stay within the lines because everything has been tampered with, and I don't have to I just don't have to be as concerned. So it's a nice little trick. I can cut it later or add another layer of glaze on the blue, which I might do. This is just another layer of glaze. And I went with the yellow that I certainly love. I have to go to the frame shop today, get a couple pieces framed. And so while I do that, this really thick layer of glaze will have time to get tacky. So then I can kind of attack my painting with. So yeah, I'm really excited because having the dry time really changes what you can make from this piece. And so being able to add a layer like this onto this painting is really beneficial. And it's part of what will make it that much better. Even like sophisticated. Because it's like these are adding translucent layers and they start compounding and building upon each other, and it's just a really strong way to create a really strong painting. Now, the only thing I'm thinking about is that I'm drying my brush right off after cleaning it. I think we're gonna go into my darker glaze and add a little even black to it. Because it's the same kind of thing. It's not like as dark as you don't have to be careful. You just have to be thoughtful. That's all. Also, you start to know more what you need to do as the painting progresses. So as the painting continues, I'm going to have more direction on what I need to do. Right now, I woke up just knowing, hey, just get that layer of glaze on there. That's my my first direction I was given by our Cherub. I can't help the sniffles. I don't know what it is. This is, you see I just tampered with the glaze, added a little more red. But a smaller brush. So just because I coat everything doesn't mean that I stop or that that's done. It could. Sometimes you just, hey, I just got to coat it. But adding these tints on top of the tints, kind of the magic. And because it's like a lot of liquid, we're talking really fast. Again, not dry times, but like tacky and more resistant. So you're not just destroying the other previous layers, you're building on top of it really fast. In fact, we're going to get even added a little white into my neon pink and yellow. Even a little more white. Let's imagine there's some highlights here for now. You can shape with it. It's just subtle. Everything is just really subtle. But that's kind of that's the whole point. Nothing dramatic, nothing major. We're clawing back in a certain, right? So this is a little dark, but now we're bringing some light in there because this will be highlighted up top. So here's where I might end up putting some music because I'm not a man of words this morning. A man of many words, rather. But this is such a necessary step to take. Here's how I'll summarize it. This is such a necessary stage, I guess, because there was the dry period overnight. This whole painting, prior to me starting these glazes, was touch dry. And so if I can add some life like this, I just need to take advantage of that. And that means coating the whole piece in a series of glazes, because these glazes are so thin that within hours or an hour, I'll be able to, it'll be tacky, if not touch dry. And then I can really attack the painting and bring it to its completion. But having these layers involved made the painting so much stronger. So much stronger. Night and day. Especially kind of for this cherub style too. Sometimes they're not necessary. The glazes are not always necessary, but this style's, I think, really going to benefit from it. Once more, we're tinting this brown because it's just brown. It's a brown. It's not the same color as the rest of the skin. It's either because it's a bit of a beard or whatever this cherub has. This mouth, this suckerfish mouth is. I can already start to feeling, believe it or not, I can already start feeling a bit of pull and resistance in my brushwork, meaning the layers previously are starting to hold a little more. And that's what we want. I might want to, because again, I'm going to let it dry while I go to the frame shop. So this is now more into the detail to see if I can see anything. I have no plan other than I'm shaping eyes, nose, eyes, and mouth. Maybe like it looks like a bit of a dog nose or something. That actually went and makes some of that brown I had. A little bit of orange, lots of liquid. A little more opaque. It's not as, there's less liquid now. Why? Because I'm sculpting and trying to bring in some more definition and some more clarity to these areas here. What's happening here, I'm not sure. So they need some attention. They need some nurturing because they need to come alive as well with the rest of the work. Up here has a really clear message. All right, this is really clear what's going on here. And so now we need to make things clear here. Even though it's very abstract in this region, right? Like nothing, I'm just looking at all the confusion, play within it. I forgot to do my homework on the nipples, but I'll do that today. So far that looks all right. Yeah, I'm getting a bit of tugging on these glazes. It's very nice. Now I'll be a little more selective with where the straps are cutting in and where they're not. And the last thing I'll do for this session, it's been like 25 minutes here, 23. The only thing I just want to do before I move on. Oops. I just saw this here and I just want to kind of cut in a little bit to the strap, like similar to up here. That might be too much, but nothing major. See, I could, like, if I made it something about these clouds I don't like, or you can start adding some of the detail. This looks like a puffer fish. And this looks like a fish as well. Maybe they all become fish. Maybe not. I don't want to do, I'd rather the cloud first, fish second. Just like how you would look at a real cloud. Oh, that's a cloud. Oh, it looks like a fish, right? That's my best option. We will do one thing here though. So we'll take the blue, we'll add it to the brown glaze, that is. And we will, the shadow gonna just come down. So let's start with that. Let's see how that looks. Pretty bold decision, but because it's a glaze, I did tackle the most important line first. Like this is like a drop shadow. You can kind of make it as strong as you want. Because I can match the blue in the sky pretty easy, you don't have to be too concerned. I want them faint, not overwhelming. Also, I give myself a lot of liberty because of the abstraction, the nature of this painting. This one's a little easier to calculate for whatever reason. I guess because I already did it here, so it's just... It's a clean brush, but it's also a dry brush. I'd rather it be diffused and like blurry than too strong. And even though this one kind of looks better than that one, you want them to kind of mirror each other. We'll even go into my sky color here and mess around with anything I don't like. This will also dry quite quickly, so if I have to play with it later, no problem. The only thing I'm just seeing... So actually, like I said, I'm not cutting into everything because I'm going to make the decision to keep some of this mess as a stylistic choice. But some of it has to go in order to really land the ship. And this kind of had to happen because as you remember, I tidied up the top of the head yesterday. And now this is completing that. That's fun. I like that. I like those like little drop shadow wings. Sweet. More glazes. More glazes. More glazes. This is very translucent, but it's just kind of... I'm just playing with the time. I got time today, and the last glaze is already touch dry. And I just want some more layers happening here. But the truth is, I'm going to go a little bit We're opaque here. Again, normally I would never be showing this process, not like it's a secret, but it's just, I don't have a lot to say other. It's just building. It's the way I build. It's just the way I build. Adding some greens in the skin. And they all just play together. They play together. It's also a good way to start the session because, there's nothing dramatic happening, but you're getting your brush started. You're getting the process going. And so you're starting to think with the right mindset. With like a really translucent glaze, you're starting to, you don't have to really worry about mucking anything up or going off the rails too quickly. So it's a good way to start pacing yourself and then throwing in more color into the glaze. And we're still finding things like having that wiggle room with like a glaze is just because I'm not in this definitive headspace. I'm also going to have lunch in a moment, so I just wanted to put a little paint on here while I'm waiting for lunch. Then I have lunch. I go to the print shop to print out certificates of authenticity. Then I come back to my painting, and because of the layout of the day, it just really benefits me to get these layers in there. Because they're going to have dry time. Swapped over to a smaller brush. Part of the reason why I would never really record this is this is just not the exciting part. This is not high energy, and there's not a lot of story happening in my mind. This is why it probably very rarely comes to life in one of my videos. So it's kind of good to do it at least once. But yeah, like even hearing myself pause, like I apologize. There's not a lot to say here other than you just keep playing with it. You keep playing by layering and grabbing different colors. You can just see I was doing some neon pinks here. Even into the brown. You're being selective, but you're also against the shit. Now we'll go a different direction. Let's grab some orange.
brighten it a little bit with a little bit of light. So you might even want to fast forward this part because what can I say? Maybe I just got to think of something else to talk about then, so I don't lose you here. But these are just glazes upon glazes. And in my experience, and what the kind of the plan is that the glazes just get a little more opaque, like so less translucent as you go along, and as you really lock in certain areas. But when you look at your skin too, like your skin's quite translucent as well, especially when you hold, like, have you ever held your finger up to a light? You can see like it turns red. You can kind of see the blood inside, or at least you can see that it's somewhat translucent, and you can see the veins in your skin under lighting and all kinds of stuff.
Guy, she said she had friend, then consider the spider. He has just a long leg. He said, "What is it? What are you?" And she's so cute. She keep looking around your shirts. My was.
I just got an update on my cat. She's doing good. Found a friend, Spider. But I think here's what I can tell you is going to happen. It's just going to start to really come alive by doing this. It's just, you just need patience, and you need to really be aware of what's happening. And then it starts to come alive really beautifully. You don't want to jump the gun and make it too opaque either. You really do need the patience to kind of keep building. I thought about like adding some more details to this cherub, but I don't think so. I think I like where it's at. So I mean, like, how I added these straps, things like that. I'm not going to be going for that. Can army green, army brown.